Howdy, my name's Curtis S. Arnold, and today we're going to be nest picking, as I'm calling it. And we got this yellow jacket nest that we found today. Here is the outer shell, and you can see it was built vertically onto a surface hung from an eave. So this is the top, and this is the side. And set that down over here. And then we've got the interior of the nest, which is this guy right here. So looking at it from this side, you can see this is a little new material right here. So they started from the base and they worked their way up in the tiers. So this one has 3. 1, 2, 3, and then a 4th new one. So 4. I'm good at math, I swear. So what we're going to be doing is going through with a pair of tweezers. I don't have forceps because my entomology kit got delayed in the mail. And we're going to be taking the larvae and preserving them in isopropyl alcohol. So that involves some very meticulous calculated work of getting the tweezers in and pulling them out, and then putting them into the alcohol so that we can dry this thing out and then sell it eventually. Or hang it up as wall art, as you'll see in future videos. So, I'm going to pull one out so I can show you. This guy's still alive. I doubt my camera will focus well enough for it not to be blurry for you, so I'm going to put it back down here in the light and then drop it on the ground because that's part of the plan. So it's this worm looking thing. Some people call them grubs. These are the larvae of the wasp adult before it gets to its adult form, before it pupates. And then on the side here, and I'll pull one off so you can see what I'm looking at here. We have the adult, the yellow jacket, as they are called. So he's going to go in a separate jar. Actually, no, we'll put him in here. He's nice and dead, so I ain't got to worry about that. I'm going to take a drink here. Not sponsored. And the really neat thing is if you use this magnifying glass that I have here, which I'm almost certain I could set things on fire with, you can see the eggs in some of the cells. So the really neat thing about that is that these, if left long enough, would have probably hatched. If this nest had been left a little longer, they would have had, several new larvae for me to take out and deal with. But in this case, we don't. They didn't hatch, so and they won't hatch more than likely. So the plan, I think, is to use some of these vials here that we have. This is some older wasp material that I found. And we're going to preserve these in alcohol and sell them on Etsy, I believe. And we'll see how well that goes. I'm waiting on typewriter ribbon so I can get labels on these bad boys. And then they'll be for sale. So if you're a person that's interested in that kind of stuff, you could always, put some copper wire on it, make it into a necklace, or just put it up on your insect identification shelf. So look at my insect preservation shelf in a later video. This is my current pinning board. We kind of been using that as a basic pinning setup for bugs and such because it was cheap and it was available. But we're waiting on, like I said earlier, an entomology kit in the mail, which will have a nice proper spreading board so we can get to some of the cooler specimens that I think we have on the shelf here. This is a polyphemus moth that I have, that my wonderful girlfriend caught for me the other day at work. Inside you can see it's a little beat up, but the collection method was a success, so therefore I have no quarrels. In this case, we have an imperial moth. You can see in there as well. This was caught for me by a friend of mine that absolutely is terrified of moths. Each of these has its own story. That's what makes them so unique. And then here, I believe, right here, I believe we have a spice bush swallowtail. And you can't see it on camera, but the wings are iridescent at the bottom, an iridescent blue. So we'll be pinning him as well in a later video. For now, back to the wasps. Looking at these in closer detail, you can definitely tell that some of them are more developed than the others, which is kind of interesting. I have not yet taken a basic entomology course, so my knowledge of this trade is very limited, but I am currently able to identify multiple species of paper wasp and working on my bee and wasp identification as we go along. So you'll have to bear with me as I do not know. You probably just heard my my cat. There she is. That's Annabelle. She'll show up a lot in these videos, I imagine. was very interesting while I was collecting this nest. I was wearing a bee suit as per company protocol for the job I work in. And, you know, as a basic safety precaution because they're yellow jackets and they're not the most aggressive of all the wasps, but they're definitely up there on the scale. I put bald-faced hornets at like a 4. They're like the most aggressive wasp you can possibly deal with. And then yellow jackets are probably like a 3, 2.5, 3. And then like paper wasps, like the North American paper wasp and the European paper wasp, those are more like a 1.5, 2 area. They're not very aggressive unless you're up in their nest and physically, you know, trying to get stung by them. At least that's been my experience. You know, there could be experiences where people have been terrorized by paper wasps and never really had problems with yellow jackets. So it's all up to user experience. Some of these I don't think we'll be able to get out just because the tweezers don't fit all the way down into the hole without completely crushing the grub. So it's very difficult to get some of them out. My plan is to try to dry this thing out over time, and it'll be a lot easier if I can get these larvae out of there before I do that. I'm absolutely sure that there are people out there that have come to the same conclusions that I have that are much older and much more experienced than me. So take everything I say with a grain of salt because I don't really have that kind of knowledge. But I do have a curiosity that needs to be quelched. So therefore I will try to learn as much as I possibly can about a thing that I'm interested in, and it becomes a very taxing thing a lot of the time. But it betters me because I can learn and know the next time exactly what a thing is. That makes me happy. Yeah, some of these are going to be very difficult. These upper ones are pretty easy. So that's pretty much it, basically. We're gonna keep doing this off camera, and by the end of it, we'll have a jar full of larvae. So, and then an adult, obviously. So, I'm gonna go ahead and end it right there, I guess. We'll see you next time. Thanks for coming to Entomology Esquire, And please, I guess, hit the like button and subscribe, because I guess that's the normal rundown of things on YouTube. And we'll see you in the next episode. Alright, bye.